How do I love you? Well, let me see. I love you like a lyric loves a melody, baby, completely wrapped up in you. How do I need you? Well, can't you tell? I need you like a penny needs a wishing well, baby, completely wrapped up in you. Every now and then when the world that we're living in is crazy, you gladly hold me and carry me through. No one in the world's ever done what you did for me, and I'd be sad and lonely if there were no you. How do I love you? We'll count the ways. There ain't no number high enough to end this parade, baby, completely wrapped up in you.
Hi, welcome to Denver Sports Take It to the House. I'm your host, Michelle Bundy, along with co-host Greg Rashid.
The real sports authority with a question mark.
Now it's with a question mark?
Well,
after last week's game?
Yes. What was the score again?
You know, I think I seem to remember saying the Broncos were going to come out on top and they were going to be 24.
And they won 24-16. I said they would lose, but I'm happy because New England lost. That's the main thing.
Oh, okay, as long as New England lost. It was an exciting game. I'm sure you all saw that. The last minute, Ashley Lilly with that big catch
that was the big
to
play
put the game away.
40-yard pass from Brian Greasy, and that iced the game.
Right, and that's what we saw of him out of Hawaii. That's one of the reasons why we signed him. We, meaning the Broncos, signed him because he had those long passes like that all the time that he would catch for touchdowns or for big yardage, and that was really his M.O.
And it takes rookies a while, unless you're Clinton Portis, to like gel in the league, get yourself together in the league. And you can see Lilly is just changing now, and he is really becoming a threat on the team right now. And a lot of teams have to be leery of him, and New England wasn't. And New England lost that game. That's 4 in a row for New England, and they definitely don't look like Super Bowl champions.
No, but you know what, that happens. That happened to the Broncos a couple years back. But one thing I want to point out, and if you watched So last week, you heard me say, if they lose the toss,
yes,
what's going to happen?
If the Broncos lose the toss, they will win the game. And now they are 5-0 when they lose the toss.
The defense gets on first, and that's been my theory all along. If the defense gets on the field, then we're coming away with that victory. And so far, truthfully, I'm almost amazed.
I'm stunned. In fact, I did call you.
Yes.
Just to,
halfway through the game,
yeah,
he's like, Michelle, how do you keep doing this?
I know. I admit that. But I'm still the real sports authority, and I will come back. I don't, now they're 6-2. And I said they would be 6-10 at the beginning of the year. I'll have to change that, but I'm not going to change it yet. I'm not going to change it yet. Next week I will.
Right on track. You know, a big bye week could not come at a better time for these guys going in, having that break before facing the Raiders on Monday Night Football. And we talked to some of them in the locker room, see what they were going to do on this time off. And I think the consensus was hit Vegas is what I heard the most.
Enjoy themselves,
Exactly,
and
relax.
by the way, the Raiders have a tough game coming up against the 49ers.
Right.
And potentially the Raiders could come out of that game 4-4.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to come away with that victory. And it'll be good for the Broncos as well, because then the Raiders, if they go down 4, they're going to come into Monday Night Football just seething. They're just going to go all out because their whole season's on the line. So hopefully they'll prevail in San Francisco. And but yeah, with the bye week, it's the perfect time to relax and prepare for them. Why don't we go down to the locker room and listen to Kanoy interviewing Deltha O'Neal about what they are going to do on their off time.
Where you going? Where you going for your little bye you have? A couple of days off. Going home. Going to Dallas. Actually, Terrell, Texas, 30 miles from Dallas to my hometown. Yeah. Kick with my family.
I heard your brother play. You going to watch him play?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take over my brother. At University of North Texas, play starting defensive tackle down there.
What's your brother's name?
Brandon.
Okay, he's gonna ball. I heard he's like one of the fastest in Texas.
No, no, not that one. No, my other brother. No, well, I'm talking about a different brother.
Okay.
My brother that I'm going to play this weekend. I'm going to see. Brother I'm going to see this weekend. He plays defensive tackle. You know, he's like 5'10", 320 pounds.
But he ball.
But he's a baller. You know, he played point guard for the basketball team.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do this weekend.
All right.
What about you?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I got my best friend in town. We're gonna go to this boo ball tonight.
Oh, I'll be there.
He'll be there with me. We just gonna chill, basically. Stay out of the cold weather, basically. Hopefully it don't be cold on the weekend. We can go out riding the Chevelle, drop the top. We'll be cruising. Put on a wig so our hair can blow in the wind.
In the snow?
I said, hopefully if it don't snow this weekend.
But it's still going to be cold.
It won't be. It's probably about 50. I can stand some 50-degree weather. That 30, that 20, I can't deal with it.
Oh, okay. When I leave, I need you to feed my dog, too.
See how he been putting everything on me? Well, put your hands on me then.
The bye week.
You know, it's good to see Kanoe in good spirits like that after the drama that he had the past couple of weeks. And it doesn't even seem to have affected him.
No, and that's a good thing. And he played the way he always played last Sunday, and that's good.
Right.
He didn't let it affect him.
And they're in good spirits, as you can see, just laughing, having a good time. Him and Delta, best buddies off the field. You know, another one of the guys talking about big plans is Shannon Sharpe. Let's go down to the locker room and see what he has to say about his plans for the bye week.
No, they're the last thing on my mind. I'm not thinking about football anymore. Football is officially over until next Monday. I'm thinking about that Delta flight that's taking me to Atlanta tomorrow.
First class?
No doubt. That's the only time I've traveled coaches when I'm traveling with the Broncos. We don't really have anybody that's that banged up, but the guys that are banged up a little bit, they give them an extra week to repair themselves. For the most part, we're pretty healthy, and we're playing pretty good the past two games. You kind of want to keep playing, but you realize the season we still have a long way to go in this season, and we're going to take advantage of this bye week, go home, refresh ourselves, and come back and be ready to go.
You know, one thing Shannon did talk about, though, in all seriousness, was how the team's done so far this year and how he rates them. Let's listen to what he has to say about the team thus far.
We're doing some good things. Obviously, we're not an A because, we lost a couple of games, but give us a B. I think the last two games we're starting to improve and we're starting to show signs that what we can do offensively. Week in and week out, you don't know from a wide receiver standpoint who's going to be the most productive, whether it's Rod one week, Ed the next week, the week after that. We've been getting a lot of consistent play from Clinton Portis. I think we've been counting on him, and he's finally showing the coaches that they can trust him with the football. He's doing a great job of running the ball outside, in between the tackles, and pass protection. And Brian, last 2 weeks has been lights out. And when you get that kind of production out of your quarterback, your offense is going to be in pretty good shape.
Now, with half the season gone, what's your assessment of your second tenure here?
I guess the past two games have been pretty good. The first ones I was just kind of, doing what they asked me to do. Block, catch a pass here and there. But I think the past couple of games they've given me more opportunity to make plays, and I've been able to make those plays. And I think any position player will tell you, you just want those opportunities. And when they present themselves, you do a good job of capitalizing on them, and they'll keep calling plays for you. And so far, the past 2 weeks, I've done a great job of, when I presented the opportunity, making plays.
Last time I held for a kicker in a game?
Yeah.
It probably was, I think, the '94 season. I held, when I was with the Raiders, I held, off and on for a few years in the late '80s, and then when I went to Dallas, I held there in '92, the year we won the Super Bowl. I held for that whole season, '93 Super Bowl. And then when I went to Phoenix, I held for my 2 years there. And then I haven't really held since. But it's like riding a bike. But what the most important thing is just establishing a relationship with the kicker and letting him get to the point where he trusts me.
Speaking of grades, special teams grade was obviously an F.
Well, I'm not going to say an F just because Jason Elam did win a couple of games. He's a part of special teams. But on the other hand, they've had problems with kickoffs. And as some of you know by now, that Tom Ruin, the punter, has been let go by the team, as well as the kick returner and wide receiver Kevin Casper.
Who did have a couple of good plays last year, so it's unfortunate to see that happen because a lot of us thought he had quite a bit of potential.
Yeah, you know, and he's somebody who's been on the cover of a couple of these muscle and health magazines, and he was like a junior Bill Romanowski as far as all the vitamins he would take, but he's gone now, and they've brought in a guy who was with the Dallas Cowboys to be the punter and also kickoff specialist, Micah Noor. And he's been doing a good job over the years, but Dallas cut him earlier this year, and he's hoping for the opportunity to show his talents with the Broncos now.
And I'm sure he will. Being from Utah, you know how those Utah boys perform.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right. He is from Utah.
Not that I'm biased or anything here, but, you know, hey, I'm from Utah, and I always like to see the hometown boys, you know, make the grade and make the team. So hopefully he'll step up and do what maybe some of the guys in the past haven't been able to do.
But if not, well, there's some other folks out there. There's always people out there that want jobs in the NFL or anywhere.
Speaking of a good job, though, let's not forget about Clinton Portis.
That's right. Oh, he had a great game Sunday. As you saw, his career best, 111 yards, and he was named
2 TDs as well.
Yeah, 2 TDs, and he was named Rookie Player of the Month for the AFC.
Yep. Was it for the AFC or for all the NFL?
I think it's just the AFC.
Oh, okay,
AFC.
yeah. But anyway, Rookie of the Month, we'll take it any way we can get it.
But he is actually, like, I believe he should be Rookie of the He probably will be Rookie of the Year for the NFL.
You know, that would be great if we could get him again as rookie after having Mike Anderson just a couple years ago, Rookie of the Year.
That's right. And his only stiff competition was the guy who you saw Sunday, Deion Branch, who was the wide receiver for the New England Patriots. And he didn't even, I don't think he caught a pass. He had a great punt return, about 40 yards, but he didn't do anything in the game. And he was the stiffest competition he had.
That happens sometimes. They're not going to get the call every single time, every single game. So as a rookie, you hope to go in there and get those minutes, but that's not necessarily always going to happen.
And the thing about Portis is that he keeps talking about the fact that he hasn't shown his real self yet, because he's been getting a lot of his yardage.
I would like to see his real self then.
Because he's been getting his yardage inside, and if you know him,
he's an outside runner.
Yeah, at Miami, I mean, his whole thing was like bursting out the outside. 20-yard runs, 15-yard runs, sometimes 60-yard runs.
Right.
He hasn't done that yet.
And he hasn't, and that would be great to see one of those getaway runs. But I think he's happy right now just being able to do something that he's not normally known for doing, being able to go and take that up the middle. And he's a smaller guy for a running back. He's not a big guy. So, you know, him going against some of those big guys is quite a feat.
It's amazing because he's averaging actually 5.1 yards a carry, running from the inside, and that's something you would expect from someone like a Mike Anderson, who's bigger than him, or someone that's bigger. So it's really great, and I just think that he is going to be Rookie of the Year this year in the NFL, as he should be.
Well, speaking of Mike Anderson, why don't we go down and listen to him and see how he thinks about his transition to fullback and how he's done so far.
I think up to this point I've done a good job, and always trying to get better, so I'm looking forward to the second half coming back and see what that takes. Thank you.
One of the other guys I want to give props to real quick before we move on to the Nuggets is Bertrand Berry, who we featured in our segment The Other Broncos a few weeks back. And now he is the second leading sacker. Is that how you say it? Sacker?
That's right, sacker. On the team now.
Yeah, he has the second most sacks on the Broncos team.
And you remember early in the season how folks in the locker room kind of teasing him that he hasn't
got
a sack
Right,
yet.
And now he's second only to Trevor Price, who has 7. And so that's, you know, kudos going out to him because that's great work.
You know, it just shows that when you get on this show, you do the Other Broncos segment, something good will happen to you.
Right, and because of the break, we didn't have one this week, but next week we're talking to Willie Middlebrooks, so don't miss that. I know this is not his first year, but he's still another one that doesn't get a lot of exposure.
First-round draft pick last year.
Right, exactly.
A lot of folks don't know much about him.
And he does such a great job, we just want to give him a little exposure, so tune in next week for Willie Middlebrooks. All right, now on to the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets, a lot of folks have been, you know, like I said, I'm going to speak French when it comes to my Nuggets this year and how they're doing. But they played the first game the other night. They lost 83-77. But in the third quarter, they were down by 25 points. And they came back to within 6 points.
Which is a pretty good feat.
And they had all the rookies in there and the second-year players. And as I've been saying, this kid, Nene Hilaria from Brazil, he is watch him. That's all I'll say. He has no fear in the paint.
He's a big guy, too.
He is big. He's 19 years old.
Right, and he doesn't look like he's 19.
No.
Not at all.
He's fearless.
Right.
And also Skeets Ville came through, and he was kind of concerned about his family because they're now here in Denver.
Oh, are they?
His mother and his brother. He was very concerned.
So that'll help.
He was playing really tentatively in the preseason, but the other night he had 9 points on three-pointers. And he was, to see someone 7 feet tall shooting like that.
Like that is a pretty good thing.
It's
Usually when you're 7 foot tall, you're lucky to hit the rim, let alone have it go through.
And they, they really hustled. Now I'm not saying, now I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they'll be in the playoffs, but they really were hustling.
But they're building, they are rebuilding, and they're starting from scratch. I think I read earlier this week they were saying that they don't even remember the last time that a team started out with as many young guys, as many rookies. And so it is. And now we got the addition of Whitney.
That's right. And Chris Whitney is still, actually, frankly, the other night, he didn't do that well, but he's learning the offense. He just got in there a couple of days ago, and he couldn't practice for a couple of days.
Right, but the Nuggets brought him in to have just a little bit more of that veteran leadership to talk to some of the young guys, as well as Juwan. So kind of help out balance a little bit of that age difference.
I think that he will, and we're going to see coming up on Friday, the first home game, you're going to see the start of the second leg of the Ming dynasty, because Yao Ming comes here, and this is the first-round draft pick with the Houston Rockets, 7'6.5" tall. He didn't do that well the other night in his first game, and we'll see what he does against the Nuggets. But I think the Nuggets are going to win that game.
You think they're going to take it, huh?
I think so. I think they'll beat them. With the home crowd there, hopefully it'll be a sellout as we take, when you see this, the game will already happen.
Right,
but I'm going to predict right now
over.
that the Nuggets will win that game.
Good.
And I'm not saying that the Nuggets are going to be a great team, but they'll be, from what I saw on Wednesday night, they're exciting.
And last year's home opener was an exciting game, too.
Oh, it was.
It was a very exciting game. It was one of the ones.
They played against Milwaukee, and that was a good game.
Right, and it was funny. Last year I was writing for a newspaper, and I wrote my article, and I said, these Nuggets are destined to be great, and the editor kind of cut it out. He's like, you're getting a little too excited there, but it was, it was a fun game. It was a good time, and you could see a lot of good. Things didn't go exactly the way a lot of people would have liked them to last year, but still, all in all, I was at just about every single game, and it always came down to the wire. It was, I think there were just a couple of games where there was a blowout. It could have gone either way, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize at those games. They were down to the wire in overtime games, and, we won some exciting ones.
And it was like that the other night. I mean, to get down by 25 points and end up within 6 points of a playoff team like the Minnesota Timberwolves, that's something. With a young team like this, and I just think they're going to be more exciting this year. They might not win as many games as the team last year.
I saw in the media, people were saying they might get 9 wins. Can you believe that? They were dogging them that bad. They were saying they'll be lucky to get 9 wins. I don't see that happening.
I don't either, because I see a lot of enthusiasm.
Right.
And I can say, frankly, at the end of the last season, there wasn't much enthusiasm, especially at midseason when the trades were happening and Nick Van Exel was very disgruntled about being here. And I just want to see an enthusiastic team, because I think you can sell out the Pepsi Center if you have enthusiasm out there.
Right.
You have that.
Why don't we meet some of the Nuggets? Why don't we now go down to the locker room and just find out who some of these young kids are that everybody's talking about?
Yeah, this is Greg Rasheed with Take It to the House, interviewing one of the new Nuggets. Could you say your name?
Vincent Yarbrough.
And position that you play?
Two guard.
And that's one thing that the Nuggets are looking for. And how do you feel about being here in the practice with the Nuggets and all? What do you hope to accomplish this year with the Nuggets?
I really just want to come in and work hard and try to get some playing time. It's not always that rookies can come in and get playing time, but I feel that we have a good chance here in a good situation.
And who have you patterned your game after when you were growing up as far as a ball player?
Probably like a Scottie Pippen. I always wanted to be the tall guard that can handle the ball, guard the point guards, things like that. And I really admire his game, so probably Scottie.
Well, thanks a lot. I wish you luck this year. This is Greg Rasheed with Take It to the House. About to interview one of the newest Nuggets, the first-round draft pick, who's reading a newspaper now. Could you say your name?
Excuse me?
Your name?
Nicholas Skitishvili.
Skeet, so?
I'm just trying to learn English, I'm looking at myself.
Are you looking at yourself?
Yeah, reading about myself.
But how's your English coming along?
Every day better and better. So I just need few months to be better in English. So.
And how does it feel being with the Nuggets and your practices now, that you're going through practice now? Are you getting used to the altitude and the thin air here?
Well, the first time it was so difficult to practice here because of altitude. we are so high. So first time I play, and I've been in my life so high is like in Denver. So first time when I came, it was difficult. And after a few practices, it was better and better. So now I feel pretty good in shape. We practice so hard, twice in a day, like 2 hours basketball running. So you have to get in the shape.
But you're just 19 years old. You can get in shape like that.
Excuse me?
You're just 19. You can get in shape just like that.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah, because of 19 years old.
And are you really looking forward to this first season? What do you hope to accomplish this year in the NBA?
I don't understand.
Your goals. What are your goals this year?
I'm gonna help to my team. I'm gonna play as hard as I can and hard as possible. So we will see. Everybody practice so hard. So we're gonna change the team. Then.
How have the players been with you? Have they been real helpful to you, being new to the country and all?
Oh yeah, everybody's helping me. If I make some mistakes, everybody's coming, all players, veterans, and they are explaining me how to play, what to do with the ball or without ball. For example, John McLeod or even Joan Howard, they're really helping me.
Have you been able to get up to the mountains and see the sights in Denver yet?
Oh yeah, one time I went there. So nice, unbelievable. Fresh air, so green, everything beautiful. I love it.
Is there anything that, now that you're in America that you want to see that you haven't seen yet, or a place you want to go to in America that you may have dreamed about?
I never been in a NBA game in the life, never, to see the game. So I'm just waiting to play just an NBA game.
Your first NBA game will be the game you play in. That's something. Well, thanks a lot, Skeets.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, so make sure you go out and support the Nuggets as well as the Avs, who are struggling right now.
It's early. I was talking to someone here about that earlier. It's early in the season. Last year at this time, they were below 500, and they went on a 12-game winning streak. And it can happen again. This is a Stanley Cup team. This Avs team is amazing.
It makes you wonder if that trade that was pretty controversial a couple months back was a good thing.
Oh, it was a very good thing.
You still think it's a good thing?
Oh, yeah. This kid, Norris, that they got on the team, Derek Norris, he's a star. If you go out there and see him or watch him on television, you can see it. This is going to really help them in the long run. Right now, don't worry. It's an 82-game season. And like I said, last year at this time.
And what's the record right now? Do you know?
Right now, they are if I'm not mistaken, 3-1-3.
Okay.
3 wins, 1 loss.
So at least they're not in the negative.
No, they're not in the negative. And, and the Wild, who beat them the other night, and they're in first place in the division. The Minnesota Wild, they're 7-1-2. But they're the Minnesota Wild. This is the 3rd year of this team, this expansion team. They're not going to be in first place.
Oh, you know what? I beg to differ. I, granted, don't know everything about hockey, but I lived in Minnesota, and I know how they are about their hockey out in Minnesota. And all they do is live in ice.
Oh, yeah, they do that.
They start growing them from they're this little to play hockey, and they're such a big hockey town that I'm sure they're putting everything they can into that team and getting behind them and make sure they have all the right players. I would be surprised if they don't do really well here in the next couple of years.
In the next couple of years, but not this year.
Right. Well,
7-1
like I said,
now,
in the next couple of years.
The Avs are going to win the division as they always do, and they're going to be the Stanley Cup champions.
Well, we'll see.
It's going to happen. You'll see that.
I know. Actually, why don't we talk a little bit about the Colorado Crush?
A lot of folks don't realize that we got an arena football team coming here, expansion team.
Right. And they're starting to meet the new guys. They signed a bunch of them this week, 6, I believe it was.
That's right.
And a couple of them who have ties to Colorado.
Yeah, you got the Gallimore brothers out of CSU, Justin and Jason, they were signed. You also have Roman Hollowell, who was with CU on the football team. And plus, they just signed John Dutton, who was the MVP of the Arena Bowl. He was quarterback with the team, and they just signed him. So that...
Hopefully he doesn't have a Brady year now.
Coming
off the Super Bowl.
No, we hope that. But I read somewhere that the Crush are setting the record for the Arena Football League as far as the most season tickets sold.
That doesn't surprise me. Denver's a big football team.
Yeah.
or football town.
You know, very big football town
right.
here.
And it's just another avenue. And plus, it's probably more affordable than some of the Broncos tickets. And so they're going to sell packages for families and try to get the young kids out there. And I think it's a good thing because come January, I think is when they start.
They start practice January 5th.
When does the season start, do you know?
Season starts, I think, in late February, March.
And if you think about it, here in Denver, there's really not a lot going on.
No.
It makes good business.
Although your Nuggets will be out there.
Right, and they'll just be finishing up, and they'll have had their season, so there's not really a lot of sports. You know,
so it's an opportunity.
Right, so I think it's a good business venture, if anything else.
And those of you who have seen arena football know it's exciting. NFL football is exciting too, but this is a whole different thing with arena.
It's a whole different thing. Well, we'll have to bring it to you and teach you guys while we learn about arena football and just what it's all about.
That's it. And speaking of football, there's a huge game as this is on. Wait a minute, let me get this right. Sorry.
That's right.
Excuse me. There's a big game today as you look at this show. We're taping this the day before the game, so we don't know the score, but your Buffs, your CU Buffs are playing Oklahoma, the number 2 ranked Oklahoma Sooners in Oklahoma. And that's going to be
the one to watch, huh?
That's the Big 12 game of the year there to play Oklahoma. I don't know. I have a feeling
they might be like Notre Dame. We talked about last week.
That's right.
Going into FSU, and who knows?
They destroyed
FSU. They did. We predicted that right. We thought that Notre Dame was going to go in and come away with that victory. I don't know too many other people that did.
I know.
And so Oklahoma, the same thing can happen.
I have a strange feeling that the Buffs are going to go in there and beat Oklahoma. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. But I think led by the leading rusher in the nation now, Chris Brown, who's averaging 169 yards a game.
A game?
A game.
Average?
That's right.
Wow.
169 yards, and he's all of a sudden out of nowhere. In the last 3 games, he has become.
Shanahan, take notice. This is next year's draft choice.
Hey, he's something, and he right now has jumped into the Heisman Trophy.
Running.
He's in there right now, and so Chris Brown. Those of you who've seen Chris Brown know he is a great back. So it looks like he's going to go down there now. Oklahoma gives up like 99 yards a game against the rush, but I think that your CU Buffs are going to win that game.
Well, let's hope. And you guys all know the outcome by time this plays, but hopefully they will go in and get a big win.
That will be very important, and that will get them into the BCS as far as a bowl bid, maybe in the Fiesta Bowl again.
Hey, Fiesta Bowl is always good. We're about out of time. That's going to be it for this week. I'm your host, Michelle Bundy, along with co-host Greg Rashid.
The Real Sports Authority.
And we will see you next week on Take It to the House.
How do I love you? Well, let me see. I love you like a lyric loves a melody, baby, completely wrapped up in you. How do I need you? Well, can't you tell? I need you like a penny needs a wishing well, baby, completely wrapped up in you. Every now and then when the world that we're living in is crazy, you gladly hold me and carry me through. No one in the world's ever done what you did for me, and I'd be sad and lonely if there were no you. How do I love you? We'll count the ways. There ain't no number high enough to end this parade, babe.